While inside, smoking is not permitted. And for the safety of our animals, please refrain from the use of flash photography. If you need to leave at any time during the show, please exit up the stairs where an operations ambassador will assist you. And now, SeaWorld is proud to present Rescue Tales.
Hello everybody, how you guys doing today? I said, how you guys doing today? It's better. Now, my name is JoJo.
And I'm Kelsey.
And we work for a company called Conservation Ambassadors. And we're actually out of California. And what it is we do at our center is we give a home to rescued wildlife. Animals that have been injured somehow and can't be set free back out in the wild are sent to our center. Or other times we have a big problem, especially here in the United States. We have a problem with people trying to make pets out of wild animals. That never ever works. It's also against the law, and those animals are taken away and sent to our center as well. Now what we do is give these animals lots of love, lots of attention, and lots of food. And the animals that we can, we train to travel, going mostly to school groups, giving us a chance to share some amazing wild animals up close and personal. Now, we've been working very closely with SeaWorld for the last 25 years, and we've gotten to witness some of the amazing rescue work that SeaWorld's done. And since they first opened their gates, SeaWorld has rescued and released over 38,000 animals. And this year alone, since January, SeaWorld Orlando has rescued and released 27 dolphins, 49 manatees, and 78 sea turtles. That definitely deserves a round of applause. Wow. That's incredible. And they're some of the best at what they do, so when SeaWorld asked us to come share some of our wildlife with you, we were super excited to do so, and we brought some awesome animals for you guys to meet. And we're going to start with a guest who came to our center in kind of an unusual way.
Thank you. That's what everybody says when they see me. This is Boo, and she is a young red kangaroo. And JoJo's right, we did get her in kind of a weird way. See, Boo's mom came to us as part of an illegal pet confiscation, and what we didn't know was that she was pregnant. But when Boo poked her head out of the pouch for the first time, her mom decided she didn't want to raise her, and she kicked her out of the pouch. So she's been raised by us ever since. Now in kangaroo, our firstborn, they don't look like this. They're only 2.5 centimeters in length, and they only have a sense of smell. So mom licks a trail of saliva from her pouch down her belly, and baby uses that sense of smell to find its way inside. Once inside that pouch, that baby starts to nurse, and something weird happens. Its jaws lock shut for 3 months, which may sound uncomfortable to some, but that's really important because mom is hopping through the grasslands of Australia and baby's inside just kind of bouncing along for the ride. Now when they start to look a little more like Boo here, they start leaving the pouch to learn where mom is finding food, and they only return to nurse and for safety. Kangaroo are an amazing marsupial. They can hop at speeds over 40 miles an hour, leaping 25 feet in a single bound. And Boo here, she is just learning how to do these programs, but we're very excited to share her with audiences in the future. Now, our next guest is also from Australia, and he has a pretty unique voice.
This is Giggles, and he is the laughing Kookaburra. Now, this little bird here is truly famous for his voice. So they use this bird's voice in the background of every single movie that's ever had a jungle scene ever. It doesn't matter if they're showing an African, a South American, or an Asian jungle. They use this bird's voice, even though he's from the exact opposite climate. He's from the grasslands of Australia, but they use his call because it does sound like it comes from the jungle. Do you guys want to hear it? Yeah! Are you ready, buddy? Now, he may be famous for that voice of his, but I think he should be famous for something else as well. Because this little bird here, he's He's actually a hunter. He's the largest member of the kingfisher family, and he likes to hunt mice, lizards, and snakes in the grasslands of Australia. I've even seen videos of these little birds hunting snakes as long as 6 feet. They'll dive down with that specialized bill of theirs. They grab onto the snakes right behind the back of the head. Then they'll whip them back and forth until they're like a limp noodle. Then he'll start to swallow. Slowly swallowing, digesting that snake over 3 days while the rest of it hangs out the corner of his mouth. Sounds weird. Works very well for the kookaburra though. Now, somebody here in the US fell in love with these birds and they found a way to purchase one online and brought it into their home. Only this person lived in an apartment complex, and kookaburra are also known as the Outback alarm clock, because every single morning at the break of dawn, they let out that call, that The neighbors were not a very big fan of it, which is why he was sent to us at our center. Now, I love this bird a lot, but being woken up by that call every single morning would be enough to have me pull my hair out. Kind of like our next guest.
This is Whizzer, and he is the turkey vulture. Now, turkey vultures, they get up in the morning, and the first thing they do is they spread those big wings, and they start to sunbathe. And when they're nice and warm, they take flight. And once up in the air, they do these big, lazy-looking circles. But he's not lazy. He's up there doing something very important. He's smelling. He's looking for the grossest, stinkiest, most rotten, and disgusting thing that he can find. And when he smells something totally gross, something that's been dead for a while, you know what he says? Lunchtime, and he dives down to make a meal out of it. Vultures eat dead stuff. Now I heard a couple of you go, ew, but if we're all being honest with ourselves, most of us eat dead stuff. Nobody chases a cow down the road to chew on his leg. The only difference is the stuff that he's eating is so bacteria-ridden that it would make us sick, which is why he has his bald head. He's sticking that head inside of rotting meat. He doesn't want to get any of that in his feathers. He cleans his legs off in kind of a gross way. He pees down himself, which is why we named him Whizzer. Now, Whizzer was sent to us a little over 17 years ago when somebody had the nerve to shoot this big, beautiful bird in his left wing. And birds' bones, they're hollow, they're hard to fix, and they don't heal quite right, which is what happened to Whizzer here. He can fly a little bit, but not enough to survive on his own out in the wild. And that is Whizzer, the beautiful turkey vulture.
Now, we're going to go from beautiful to cute. This is Maya. She's about a 40-year-old spider monkey. She's been at our center almost 30 years now. And in 1994, we got a call from LA County Sheriff's Office saying they found a monkey in a dumpster. Apparently somebody threw it away, and this kind of thing actually happens a lot. So people get monkeys, they try and make them into pets, and they quickly learn why that's not such a good idea. See, monkeys are set up by nature to be the farmers of the rainforest. They are set up to eat fruits, they swallow the seeds, they squeeze the seeds out the other end in a nice little pile of fertilizer, and they do this about every 15 minutes. So as they're planting fruit trees in people's couch cushions around the rest of their house, people get very tired of them. Not to mention the fact that as monkeys get older, they tend to get an attitude, people get bit, they get sent to the hospital. If that's not enough, they find out that these monkeys can live 40 to 50 years. So they get rid of them in all sorts of ways, whether they get caught by Fish and Wildlife, or they send them to centers like ours, or other times they just release them into the world, kind of like what happened to Maya here. Now, spider monkeys, they are not set up like a lot of other monkey species. She doesn't have that opposable thumb on her hand. Instead, can I see her hand here? Instead, she has 4 alien-like fingers that allow her to hook onto the branches, and she can swing through the trees as fast as a horse can run on land. She also has the coolest tail in the jungle. Her tail is better than all the other monkey species. It is so dexterous that she can pick up something as small as a grain of rice with the tip of her tail and actually use it for all sorts of stuff. She hangs by that tail, she carries food around with it, she scratches her head with it, every once in a while catch her picking her nose with it. I mean, it's the most amazingly useful tail I have ever seen. Now, whenever we get a new monkey into our center, we always try to find other monkeys for them to live with. They're very social animals, they require those social bonds, But because Maya was fed so much of the wrong foods when she was young, she's not nearly as developed as her other spider monkeys. So we had to find her a different companion. And eventually we did. Her name is Hobo. She's 54 years old. The only other monkey at our center that's older than Maya. And together we call them the Golden Girls.
This is Hobo, and she is the Weeper Capuchin monkey. And we got Hobo a little over 10 years ago when the person who was using her as an organ grinder monkey in Monterey, California, had to discontinue his practices. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is a monkey that gets put in a costume, taken to a public area, and while music plays, they walk around collecting money from people. It used to be a pretty common practice, but has since been frowned upon. Now, because Hobo was so up close and personal with the public each and every day, her handler had all of her teeth removed. So Hobo, she needs very specialized diets, and she has health problems with her lower jaw. Which just goes to show, if you have to do that to an animal in order to keep it, you probably shouldn't have that animal in the first place. Now, spider monkeys and capuchin monkeys are native to the rainforests of Central and South America, but unlike Maya, who you just met, Hobo has a thumb on her hand and her foot as well. One of the smartest animals I've ever worked with, unlike our next guest, who gives a whole new definition to bird brain.
This is Ebu, and what is he? Who? I'm kidding. That's my only owl joke, is go who. You guys are absolutely right. This is an owl. You were looking at the barn owl. And Ebu here, he came to our center about 20 years ago because he was flying free when he made a big mistake and I accidentally flew down in front of a car. And the guy, he couldn't stop and he hit this bird and shattered his left wing. But he scooped him up and took him to a wildlife vet that saved his life. But unfortunately, they couldn't save that left wing of his, which is why he's with us at our center. Now, Kelsey is not wrong. Owls are kind of bird brain. See, they have the smallest brain compared to skull size out of all the other bird species. But they make up for it in other ways. See, these birds here are perfectly set up to fly and hunt at night. So things that help them. Number one is those eyes. Those eyes are so good at seeing at night that if we turned off all the lights in here, just made it pitch black, and took one little candle of light in the middle of a big room like this owl can see everything almost like we see it right now. That's how good his eyes are. But there's a problem with his eyes. His eyes are so big. His eyes take up so much room in his owl's skull, they're actually stuck, facing straight forward. If he wants to look to the left, he has to turn his whole head to the left. To the left. To the left. I'm starting to sound like Beyonce. Now if he wants to the right, he turns his whole head to the right. That's why he has that flexible neck and you can turn his head how far? Almost one full rotation all the way around. Now it's not like the cartoons. He can't go round, round, round. If he did that, his head would pop off. But he does have 2 extra neck bones that allow him to turn his head 270 degrees, almost one full rotation all the way around. Now the second thing that helps them out is in their wings. See, owls have specialized feathers called comb feathers that break up the wind and give them silent flight. That silent flight helps them out 2 ways, because when they're flying through the forest at night, they're not only looking for food, they're listening for food. And if they were up there going flappy, 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 they can hear the mice and the rats that are down on the ground. The second way it helps them, those mice and rats, they don't hear him coming. He can make a sneak attack to capture his prey. Now an owl this size will eat about 3 to 5 small rodents a night. He is an important part of the balanced nature, and even though he is such a profound hunter, the one thing he's missing is a sense of smell. Which is good because our next guest is probably the stinkiest animal we work with.
This is Pepe, and he is the striped skunk. Now they get that name because of that beautiful racing stripe down their back. But everybody always wants to know the same thing. They want to know about the spray. So I think instead of talking about it today, I'm going to show you how it works. I'm kidding. You guys are all safe here because I am saving that for the end of my career, and it is most definitely, without question, going to happen in a junior high school. Now, that spray is his only form of defense. So if another animal gets too close, he does a few things first. He throws a fit. Have any of you guys ever thrown a fit before? Yeah, I bet you have. He'll stomp his feet, he'll even do handstands, waving that tail in the air as if to say, back off or I'm going to spray you. And if those warnings aren't listened to, then he sprays. And he can spray up to 15 feet, which means some of you are in his splash zone. Now, normally an animal that gets sprayed once and they learn their lesson. The one animal that never ever seems to learn is our dogs. Yeah, I love my dog, but he has been sprayed so many times I've lost count. And there are a few things you can do to help prevent this from happening. I just haven't learned my lesson enough yet. Things like making sure your trash is secure and bringing your pet food as well as your pets in at night. Then these guys will waddle through your yards eating things like slugs and snails and other pests, and they'll become helper animals rather than being problem animals. Now, we're going to take off because we're really not a fan of this next guest.
This is Precious. And Precious here, she's a snake. She's one of these snakes that makes kind of a rattling noise. And when I get her out of her box, you guys might hear her talking to me a little bit. Let's see if she'll rattle. That's weird. Usually when I tap on her box, she rattles. Oh shoot, where did she go? I think that's funny. People don't seem to think so. But this is Precious, a beautiful snake. Let's say she's striking, but that's a bad idea. You're about to meet one of my favorite animals on this planet. This is Precious, the Northern Pacific rattlesnake. Now, isn't she beautiful? I said, isn't she beautiful? Don't hurt her feelings now, not Precious here. The rattlesnake, she came to our center because there was a man out weed whacking his lawn, and he accidentally cut her across her tail really, really badly. Almost cut her tail completely off. But he very bravely scooped her up in a box and he took her to Walmart. Yeah, Walmart. And Walmart is the largest retailer in the nation. Speed it up, Florida. That's a good joke. No, he scooped her up in a box and he took her to a wildlife vet, and that saved her life. But unfortunately, when she strikes for small prey, she misses, which is why she's with us at our center. Now, we're having a big, big problem with kids and rattlesnakes right now. Lots and lots of kids are being bit by rattlesnakes. Is it because there's too many snakes? No, it's because there's too many kids. No, it's not that either. I actually think it's videos showing people handling venomous reptiles. Some of them can be great and educational, but I think people are getting the wrong idea and are thinking it's okay to try. Most bites that happen on people's hands, which shows me that they're trying to pick that animal up. You need to keep in mind, there's enough venom in this snake's mouth to kill a cow. It's an animal to be respectful of. There's one that you can and should be able to peacefully live right alongside of. Now, Precious here, she's not very big. Rattlesnakes can grow to be about twice this size, but I think she's absolutely beautiful. That is little Precious. Let's see by the rattlesnake here. Woo! All right. Oh, we got another guest for you. Hi, girl. This is Samantha, and she is the brown lemur. Now, if you look at the lemur's eyes, do you think she's awake during the day, or do you think she's awake at night? That's what I think too. With her big yellow owl-like eyes, she looks like a nocturnal or nighttime animal, but she's not. She's actually diurnal. She gets up in the mornings, and the first thing that she does is she greets every member of her lemur family. And how one lemur says hello to another lemur? Well, would you guys like to see? Yeah. Are you sure you want to see? Yeah. All right, I'm going to make it sound like a pig. She's going to answer me back. Then she's going to do something rather strange. Watch carefully here. First she answered my pig-like grunt, and then she licked inside my nose. You guys want to see it again? There's no words. Now, the lemurs. They get up, they greet their whole family, then they go off looking for food. Now, for her, she doesn't want to use the ground. Where she lives, there are fossa, a jungle cat-like creature that loves sea lemurs. There's also crocodiles by the water's edge. The next is she jumps. They're even called leaping lemurs. Amazing, amazing jumping ability. Ready, Samantha? How's that? No, let's show them a real jump. Come here, girl. Oh, she's cheating. No cheating. Big jump. Yeah, big jump. Big jump. I'm close enough. Big jump. Whoa. You know what? No, that was nothing. That was barely a hop. But Samantha here is over 30 years old. She's a fairly old lemur, so we don't really ask her to do super far jumps anymore. But when she was younger, she could jump from my shoulder, and she can land on the table all the way over there. And as she jumps through the air, she uses this big, beautiful, long tail of hers to keep her balance as she would be bounding through the canopies of Madagascar. Now, Samantha here, her story is she was found in a man's home in Palmdale, California. Somebody had decided it would be an okay idea to take a lemur, an endangered species, and keep her in a cage in his garage. Now, does that sound fair to her? Well, I love this girl a lot, but I wish she was roaming the canopies of Madagascar, licking other lemurs' noses. That is where she truly belongs. Now, does she look like a monkey? Maybe a little bit? She actually is a primitive type of primate, and there are over 105 different species of lemurs. All of them have two things in common. They are only found in Madagascar, nowhere else on our planet. And every single species of lemur is endangered in the wild. If we don't do something fairly quickly, we can actually lose these beautiful creatures during our lifetime. Now, Kelsey and I tend to get this one question. Because we work with all these wild animals, people always go, what is your favorite animal? And do you guys know what our favorite animal is?
What?
It's none of these guys. We love the lemurs. That's why we do what we do. But our favorite animals have to be these next two guests. Their names are Basil and Millie, and we'll check them out. This is my favorite animal. I trust them. They trust me. We never bite each other. I know they want to be with me. You have to know the wild animals would much rather be in nature where they truly belong.
Hey, did you guys enjoy those animals? Yeah! I hope you did. I hope you learned something today. But we like to end each and every show with just a little something that you guys can do to help keep our environment clean and our wildlife safe.
Some easy things like reducing single-use plastics. That is a huge one right now.
And making sure that we're recycling as well as picking up any garbage that we find.
Or if you find a sick or injured animal in the wild, get it to a wildlife rescue center. There are literally thousands of places set to give the animals the proper care they need to hopefully get them back out to the wild.
These few things, and we can coexist right along with the wildlife, and I think that makes the world a really cool place to live.
Thank you guys so much for being a super fun audience, and